Defendants object to court's November 14, 2025 order docket 291 scheduling a closed-door status conference on defendant's joint motion to disqualify, dismiss indictment, vacate schedule order, reopen pretrial hearing.
He's 32, a successful rapper, and a Grammy Award winner. Federal authorities say Lil Durk is also behind an alleged murder-for-hire plot.
Wow, guys. We have Lil Durk, who's been gone now for a year, is what it's looking like.
The internet didn't just break today, it shattered in two. Emotional confetti after a leaked court video of Lil Durk hit the timeline like a meteor made of pure chaos. 1 second, everything was normal. The next, Durk was being rushed in court and social media turned into a digital stampede. If you thought you were having a calm day, think again. This makes the Kardashians look like they're running a daycare center. People weren't just shocked. They were clutching their chests, dropping their phones, rewinding the clip with the urgency of a bomb technician. The footage popped up out of nowhere, like somebody's cousin hid a camera under a courtroom bench and said, "Let me ruin the whole internet real quick." And the moment it leaked, timelines everywhere caught fire. The audio? Wild. The movement? Chaotic. The energy? Straight out of a Netflix crime thriller that didn't get approved by legal. Fans screamed. Haters celebrated. Bloggers skipped breakfast so they could post faster. Even people who don't know who Lil Durk is suddenly became court analysis experts overnight. Because this wasn't just a clip. This was a cultural earthquake, and the burning question gripping every corner of the internet right now. What really happened in that courtroom? And why was Lil Durk rushed like the building just exploded? Buckle up. This story only gets darker, louder, and more unbelievable from here. The moment that court video leaked, the internet didn't simply react, it melted down like a cheap candle under a blowtorch. Phones vibrated so hard you'd think Apple released a new update that forces your device into panic mode. Everyone from rap fans to bored office workers started screaming, "What just happened to Durk?" Because the footage looked like the opening scene of a documentary that usually ends with a grim narrator whispering. But nobody knew. What would happen next? At first, people thought it was fake. The clip was grainy, chaotic, filmed at a weird angle. Basically, the usual ingredients of a leak that shouldn't exist. But then somebody zoomed in, somebody else enhanced the audio, and boom, confirmation spread faster than influencer drama. It was Lil Durk. It was a courtroom, and he was being rushed like security. Suddenly realized they left their responsibilities in the parking lot. The background of all this was already a pressure cooker. Durk had been moving quietly for months, trying to stay out of headlines. Working on music, focusing on family, keeping business clean. But quiet eras never last long when the universe has a twisted sense of humor. The courts had been inching forward on cases tied to old accusations, old rumors. Old events that the internet pretended to forget until it suddenly remembered them again at the worst possible moment. So, when Durk walked into that courtroom, it wasn't just a routine appearance, it was a ticking clock wrapped in legal tension. People whispered, lawyers scribbled notes like their lives depended on it, and every fan outside waited with crossed fingers, convinced today might finally be the day things turned around for him. Nobody expected chaos. Nobody expected action. Definitely nobody expected a viral moment so shocking it looked scripted by a director who loves plot twists. But the tension had been brewing long before the footage dropped. For weeks, whispers floated around social media claiming trouble was coming. Anonymous accounts tweeted cryptic messages like, "Watch the courtroom, not the studio," and moves being made behind closed doors, as if they were federal agents moonlighting as rappers. People ignored it. Nobody had time for more rap conspiracies. Until the leak hit, then every ignored tweet suddenly looked prophetic. The video opens like a horror movie teaser. Durk sits at the table, calm but focused, his eyes scanning the room. Then something shifts. A commotion in the back, a noise, a gesture, a sign nobody fully understands. Suddenly, officers rush in fast, chairs scrape, lawyers jump, and Durk is moved with a speed that screams. Something is very wrong. The clip cuts off just when things get interesting, which is exactly why the internet lost its sanity. Comment sections exploded like uncapped soda bottles. People slowed the footage to 0.25 speed, trying to decode tiny movements. Others analyzed the audio like they were solving a national mystery, insisting they heard someone shout something like, "He's not safe," or "Move now." Nobody agreed on what was said, but everyone agreed it sounded dramatic, and because the internet loves chaos more than breakfast. Rumors began multiplying like rabbits. Some people said a threat was made in the courtroom. Others said a witness attempted something reckless. A few claimed a fight broke out in the hallway. Someone else swore they heard a metal object drop. None of it was verified, but that didn't matter because social media never waits for facts. Within an hour, news pages posted dramatic captions like, "Breaking. Lil Durk rushed for safety in court, even though nobody knew why." Fans begged for answers. Haters popped popcorn. Theories grew by the minute. And the craziest part, even legal experts came out of nowhere to give commentary like they were auditioning for Law and Order. But what made this entire situation explode beyond control was the timing. Durk was supposedly preparing for new music, new deals, a new era of peace. His fan base was excited. The streets were quiet. People said this was his grown man era, the era of calm, wisdom, elevation. And the internet loves ruining peaceful eras. It's practically a hobby at this point. Fans began pulling old interviews, remembering moments where Durk talked about changing his life. They reposted quotes where he said he wanted to avoid trouble forever. They mourned the idea that trouble keeps finding him like it has a GPS set to his location. Meanwhile, blogs smelled blood. They posted every old headline connected to Durk's name, creating a storyline so dramatic it looked like a crime anthology series. Suddenly, the internet was filled with timelines, charts, lists, and everything you need to know before watching the court video posts. People love acting like experts after 5 minutes of Googling. The leak spread so fast that celebrities started reacting. Rappers tweeted praying hands emojis. Influencers made TikToks discussing the energy shift. Even DJs started posting cryptic captions like "Prayers up for bro," which made fans panic even more. If a DJ is posting serious content, you know things look bad. Then came the fans, who act like undercover agents. They zoomed in on every detail: the guards' uniforms, the judge's movement, Durk's reaction, the angle of sunlight through the window. Someone even claimed they identified the courtroom by comparing the wall paint to public building photos online. They said, "I found the exact room," like they deserved a medal. But the most chilling theory came from viewers who noticed. Durk didn't look panicked, he looked prepared, like he sensed something before it happened. People said he made a tiny head turn right before security moved. They said he spotted something nobody else did. They said his instincts kicked in like he'd trained for this moment. The rumor grew into an entire narrative. Did Durk know something was coming? And then there was the audio. The clip didn't capture much, but it caught enough to drive people insane. A faint shout, a sharp movement, a noise that could have been anything, a dropped phone, a slammed binder, or something far more intense. People replayed it on loop until they started imagining words. Some said they heard danger, others heard go. Someone claimed they heard gun, which immediately made the situation explode even worse. But through all the theories, one thing was clear: something went down in that courtroom that nobody saw coming. Something intense enough to make security react like they were protecting a VIP in the middle of an ambush. The moment the leaked clip hit its second million views, the internet evolved into something unrecognizable, a flaming circus with everyone juggling theories instead of fire. People weren't just reacting anymore. They were constructing entire cinematic universes around what might have happened in that courtroom. It was like watching the Avengers assemble, except every superhero was an unemployed conspiracy theorist with Wi-Fi. And then the celebrity reactions started rolling in, hitting the timeline like rapid-fire grenades. One rapper tweeted, "They move like that for a reason," which immediately turned into a full-blown Reddit investigation. A basketball player wrote, "Prayers up for Durk," even though he probably didn't watch the video past the first 3 seconds. A reality star chimed in with, "Court ain't safe for nobody," proving once again that celebrities will comment on anything, as long as it gets likes. But the internet wanted answers, and when the internet wants something, it becomes unhinged in ways that scientists still can't explain. Fans slowed the footage down frame by frame until it looked like a slideshow made by someone with a broken laptop. They tracked every movement of the officers, the lawyers, the random man in the blue tie in the back row, even the water bottle on the table. Someone posted, "The bottle moved first," implying the bottle was warning Durk. Then came the meme army, the most powerful force known to mankind. The memes were ruthless. Someone edited Durk getting rushed to dramatic opera music. Someone else added WWE commentary like, "Oh my god, what a turn of events." Another meme claimed the judge activated beast mode. TikTok stitched everything into full-blown edits with captions like, "When the court hearing turns into a season finale." It was chaos, comedy, and controversy mashed together into one explosive trend. But things got way more serious when unnamed sources started dropping their own versions of the story. The first claimed someone in the gallery made a threatening gesture. The second insisted a witness tried to rush toward the defense table. The third, clearly an adrenaline-fueled troll, wrote, "Bro, the whole room shook." I thought it was over. The internet didn't care if the sources were credible. The comments read every rumor like it was biblical scripture. Then a new clip surfaced, a different angle. Not perfect, not HD, but enough. In this second video, you could hear background yelling that wasn't audible before. It didn't reveal much, but it revealed enough to ignite a fresh explosion. People replayed the scream like it was a hidden message from a ghost. Some swore it sounded like, "Move him." Others said, "No, no, no, IT says now." Someone else said it sounded like meow, which obviously made 0 sense, but still got 40,000 likes because the timeline was officially unhinged. This fresh angle also showed Durk turning his head seconds before security swept in. That tiny turn sent shockwaves through the entire fanbase. People started saying Durk sensed danger like a superhero. Someone tweeted, "Durk got spidey senses," which instantly became a meme. Others said he saw something nobody else did, a threat the cameras didn't capture. Suddenly the video wasn't just chaos. It was a mystery that the entire world felt obligated to solve. Then legal experts started chiming in. Lawyers on TikTok made dramatic videos explaining courtroom protocol with the seriousness of surgeons performing brain operations. They talked about emergency evacuation procedures, higher-risk defendants, witness tensions, all without confirming a single detail about Durk's case. Their videos spread like wildfire because the internet loves professional opinions, even when the professionals aren't actually involved. And then, things got darker. A leaked court document, unverified, blurry, and written like someone typed it during an earthquake, began circulating. It mentioned security concerns and unexpected disruption. Those two phrases alone were enough to make social media lose oxygen. People interpreted them 100 different ways. Some claimed it meant a fight broke out. Others said it referenced a threat. Someone else said it was a coded message indicating corruption. The theories multiplied until the rumor mill looked like a malfunctioning factory blowing smoke non-stop. Celebrities kept reacting too. One famous rapper posted, "Chicago energy different," which fans misinterpreted as confirmation of danger. A singer wrote, "Protect Durk at all costs," even though she probably didn't know what actually happened. A producer added, "Court ain't no joke," which added absolutely nothing but still got to OK likes because people were desperate for meaning. But the real twist came when fans connected this leaked video to Durk's past. They pulled up old interviews where he talked about paranoia, loyalty, street life, betrayal, justice. Clips from years ago resurfaced with captions like, "He tried to tell us." One interview where he mentioned being prepared for anything suddenly became evidence that he expected this moment. The timeline turned into a digital seance, trying to interpret the mindset of a man whose life they only see through screens. Meanwhile, the memes kept escalating. Someone edited Durk's courtroom rush to the soundtrack of Mission Impossible. Another added Drake's Know Yourself, claiming it matched the chaos too perfectly. Someone else chopped the footage into a fake movie trailer called Courtroom Rushed, the Lil Durk story. Fans laughed, cried, panicked, sometimes all at once, but a deeper undertone began forming beneath the jokes. People started worrying. Theories that began as entertainment turned into genuine fear. Fans wrote about not wanting anything to happen to Durk. They made prayer posts, hope posts, emotional threads. Suddenly, the scandal wasn't just dramatic, it was personal. For millions, Lil Durk wasn't just a rapper. He was a symbol of survival, evolution, resilience. Seeing him rushed in court hit nerves nobody expected. And then came the biggest twist of all, a statement from the courthouse claiming the situation was under review. That one phrase, cold, vague, corporate, sent shockwaves through the timeline. It didn't explain anything. It didn't deny anything. It didn't confirm anything, just hinted that something did happen, and they weren't ready to talk about it. That's when panic turned into obsession. People started connecting dots that didn't even belong on the same sheet of paper. They said the case must be bigger than anyone thought. They claimed someone inside the courtroom was a threat. They argued Durk's safety was compromised. They wondered if the leaked video was only the beginning, the tip of a much bigger iceberg. And the worst part? Nobody knew the truth, not the fans. Not the blogs, not the celebrities posting emojis, not even the courtroom officials trying to calm the storm. Which is exactly why this story grew from a scandal into a phenomenon. Because if that leaked clip was the beginning, what happened after the camera stopped? The internet demanded answers, but the truth was only about to get more explosive. The aftermath of the leaked courtroom chaos didn't roll in slowly. It slammed into the internet like a freight train with no brakes. The second the public realized the footage didn't explain why Durk was rushed, the panic mutated. This wasn't shock anymore. This was obsession. People were refreshing timelines like they were monitoring stock markets during a crash. Every second without an update felt like another piece of the sky falling. The first wave of consequences hit the media. Major news outlets scrambled to build narratives, each one more dramatic than the last. One headline said, "Security incident in courtroom." Another said, "Unrest during Durk hearing." And a third one, clearly written by someone drooling for clicks, went with court erupts into chaos as Durk escorted. None of them had details, but all of them fueled hysteria. Then officials stepped in with a painfully short statement. Everyone is safe. And yet, they didn't explain why the rush happened. That tiny silence, that microscopic missing detail, spun the internet into a tornado of speculation. People started saying that if everything was fine, the court would have said so directly. The absence of clarity became the loudest alarm. Meanwhile, Fans dissected Durk's body language in the clip like they were decoding ancient hieroglyphics. They said he looked tense before the incident. They said he looked like he expected something. They said his eyes shifted at the exact moment danger entered the room. The narrative wasn't just about what happened, it was about what he might have known. Suddenly, Durk wasn't just a rapper in court, it was a man navigating threats nobody had seen yet. But the consequences didn't stop at social media. Behind the scenes, the industry shook. People close to Durk allegedly began tightening his security. Rumors surfaced that his team held emergency meetings, discussing threats, safety measures, and whether future court appearances should be private. The leak didn't just expose a moment, it exposed vulnerability, and vulnerability in the music world. That's blood in the ocean. Then came the emotional fractures. Fans posted messages fearing something worse was coming. They wrote things like, "Protect Durk at all costs," and "This feels deeper than the video shows." These weren't the usual hype comments. They were real worry, real fear, real anxiety pouring out from millions. The fandom wasn't laughing anymore. They were praying. At the same time, critics used the moment as fuel. They dragged up old cases, old accusations, old headlines. They painted Durk as a magnet for trouble. They claimed the courtroom chaos wasn't a surprise, but a pattern. It was unfair, biased, and rooted in narratives that refused to let artists evolve. But critics never waste a crisis. They feast on it. The worst part? The situation started impacting people around Durk too. Friends suddenly faced questions online. Family members received unsolicited messages. Even collaborators got dragged into the whirlwind. Every person connected to his name got swept into the storm like debris caught in a tornado. Then came the biggest shock yet, a rumored second video. Anonymous sources claimed another angle existed longer, clearer, with audio that revealed everything. Whether the clip was real or a myth didn't matter. The internet believed it existed, and belief is more powerful than truth. People begged for the upload. Bloggers teased exclusive info. Trolls faked leaks to farm views. This rumor alone doubled the chaos. Meanwhile, lawyers who actually knew things stayed silent, which only made everything worse. Silence is gasoline. And this silence poured fuel over every theory, every fear, every whispered possibility. The question shifted from what happened to what isn't being said. Even more cracks formed when artists in Durk's circle started posting cryptic messages. Lyrics, emojis, half-sentences. It was the digital equivalent of speaking in riddles during a thunderstorm. Fans tried decoding every post like puzzle pieces. They drew connections. They drew conclusions. They drew everything except facts. The courtroom event also triggered a wave of emotional takeovers. People posted long messages about Durk's growth, pain, survival, trauma. They said the universe was testing him. They said his past was haunting him. They said they feared for his safety beyond courtrooms, beyond music, beyond fame. The situation became spiritual to some, symbolic to others, terrifying to many. But the heaviest consequence arrived days later, when insiders began murmuring about an incident that wasn't supposed to go public. A disruption, a confrontation, a risk, something involving someone in the courtroom whose name wasn't revealed. The leak wasn't meant to escape. The footage wasn't meant to exist. And that fact alone changed everything, because now it wasn't just about safety. It was about exposure. Someone recorded something they shouldn't have. Someone leaked something they weren't allowed to. And someone inside that courtroom wasn't who they appeared to be. Durk's camp tightened their lips. Officials went quiet. Blogs kept guessing. Fans kept spiraling. The truth still locked behind legal doors. But whatever happened in that courtroom, It left a shadow that stretched far beyond those walls. Durk's next move suddenly became the most watched storyline in hip-hop. People wondered if he'd speak out, if he'd drop a statement, if he'd drop a track instead, because Durk has a history of putting truth in music when he can't put it anywhere else. And if you're still glued to the screen after that level of courtroom chaos, congratulations, you officially have stronger nerves than half the rap industry. Because what we just witnessed wasn't a leak. It was a cultural earthquake disguised as a shaky 12-second video. And the fact that we still don't know what happened after the clip cuts off. Yeah, that's the kind of suspense that keeps the entire internet pacing in digital circles. But let's be honest, this story is nowhere near done cooking. Lil Durk has been through too many storms for this to be the final chapter. The next twist is probably already brewing behind closed doors. And you know the moment it drops, the internet is going to explode all over again. And when it does, you already know who breaks it first. Not the blogs, not the gossip pages, not the midnight Twitter detectives, us, right here. Rap shocker, so go ahead, smash that like button like you're trying to break out of a locked courtroom. Hit subscribe like you're slapping the Wi-Fi router back to life during a thunderstorm. Drop a comment with your wildest theory, because, let's be honest, the internet is just a giant group chat with no supervision. And your take might become tomorrow's headline. Turn on notifications too, because this channel doesn't sleep, doesn't blink, and definitely doesn't wait for official statements. If the tea spills at 3 a.m., we're dropping the full breakdown at 2:59. This is where rap drama becomes legend. Leaks become events, and every scandal gets turned into a cultural moment. Welcome to the chaos. Welcome to the truth. Welcome to Rap Shocker. Welcome to Rap Shocker.